Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Sandi. I'm from Aceh Province, Indonesia. And I've been working in FKL, Forum Konservasi Leuser, since 2016. And today I'm going to tell you the place that we've been working on. It's called the Leuser Ecosystem in Aceh, Indonesia. So Leuser comes from a Guyanese language, so from the ethnic Gayo people who live there in the highland, and Leuser literally means covered in clouds. So this is the Indonesia, and you can see here the Sumatra island. And Leuser is just in the northern tip of Sumatra, and you can get there by flying to Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, or to Jakarta, and then you can transit and fly to Banda Aceh Air Medan and can reach Leuser from there. This is the lowland rainforest of the Leuser ecosystem. So Leuser has the largest lowland rainforest of all Sumatra. But beside of the lowland rainforest, Leuser is like a complete landscape. We also have coastal, we have the peatland forest, and lowland forest like this. And we have the mountain forest, where the trees are smaller and covered in moss, and they are always moist. And creating this, when you walk in the mountain forest, you feel like you're walking in a mythical forest because it's constantly covered in mist. And that's how the Gayo people named this place, Leuser, covered in clouds. Leuser provides ecological services. So Aceh is 5.5 million people, and 4 million who live in Aceh rely on this ecosystem for water supply, for local climate regulation, germplasm for its natural beauty, and also globally it's important for climate change mitigation. This is the iconic species of Leuser. So the Leuser ecosystem is the last place on Earth where the Sumatran tiger, orangutan, Sumatran elephant, and Sumatran rhino coexist in the wild. So it's a unique ecosystem. You cannot find these four key species living, coexisting together in any other landscape on Earth except the Leuser ecosystem. And beside the four key species, we also have we have a very rich biodiversity in Leuser. We have bird species, mammal species, reptiles, amphibians, and more than 4,500 plant species. I'm going to play a video. It's a short one from one of our camera traps. So it is in one location, just to show you the biodiversity of the animals who live in Leuser. So this is the Leuser ecosystem. You can see here in the green boundary. It's a 2.6 million hectares ecosystem. And here you have the national park, the purple lines, the boundary of the national park. So this is a biodiversity map. So the darker green means higher biodiversity. And national park is just 800,000 hectares. But the biodiversity mostly they are located outside of the national park, in the lowland forest here, and the peatland forest here. So that's why FKL, we do not only work in the national park area, but we also work to protect the wider landscapes that we call the Leuser ecosystem of 2.6 million hectares landscape, because it's not enough if we just protect or work in the national park, but we have to protect in the wider area which have this rich biodiversity. And the pink color is where the populations mostly live, but there are also rural villages around the ecosystem, and these are the community that we must work with and involve them in conservation. The threats facing Leuser, it's a classic threat you find in a tropical rainforest. And in Indonesia, it's the conversion to monoculture plantation. And here's an aerial view of lowland rainforest completely converted into a monoculture plantation, palm oil. And we also have logging, although in Aceh we do not have a logging concessions, but an illegal logging like this occur from time to time. And here's a tree cut down in national park area. And also habitat fragmentation. This orangutan we had to rescue in 2020 because 2022. Because he was isolated from its habitat, so he came to the community farms, already converted into palm oil. So we had to rescue him and bring him to rehabilitation before being reintroduced to the wild. And the next slide I'm going to show is a bit graphics about animals being killed. So, but this is a reality on the ground, a problem with poaching and human-wildlife conflict. So like the elephant here died because he got electrocuted by an illegal electric fan sent up by farmer. And here 2 tigers at the same time being caught in a snare, and they cannot get out of it. So yeah, it's still a problem in Leuser. The next is the impacts of deforestation to the community. This floods happened in 2025 in November. So it just happened recently. It was caused by a cyclone called the Cyclone Senyar. And this is the first time ever in history that Aceh was hit by a cyclone. So it has never happened before. So it shows how extreme weather event is happening and that the evidence of climate change. Yeah, so the deforestation, the floods, so the cyclone carried heavy rains and also caused landslides, which caused these timbers being carried with the flood water, and it hit the community villages and had killed hundreds of people and displaced thousands of families, and then they lost their access to water, to schools, and also they lost their farms and their source of income. This is the forest cover comparison between in Leuser ecosystem between 1970 to 2024. So in the last 50 years, we've lost about 429,000 hectares, and mostly in here in the lowland area. But what this means? This means that 20% of the area have been deforested, but we still have the 80% of the magical forest in here, and this is the foundation for us to work for, and this is why we established the organization FKL, which is the Forum Konservasi Leuser, or in English, the Leuser Conservation Forum. So we established, not me, I joined in 2016, but the founders and conservationists, Achenese conservationists, they found the organization in 2013. But now we are recognized as one of the leading conservation organizations operating in Indonesia and in Aceh, with the largest ranger teams spread across any one landscape in Indonesia. Our vision is not only the conservation of the Leuser ecosystem, but we also see that the community must also benefit from the protection of this landscape. This is the FKL office in 2013. We just ran a small house as an office at the time. Yeah, it's small. We don't have any budget at the time, and some must use chairs as tables. Yeah, we have just 20 staff, 2 ranger teams, and the annual budget at the time probably $20,000 or $20,000 to $25,000. But now we have our own office. Thank you for our supporters and donors. And beside of one headquarters in Banda Aceh, we also have 3 other offices in the Leuser ecosystem, in the landscape. So in East Leuser, in Central Leuser, and in the West Leuser as the base camp of our ground operation. So we have in total 4 offices, and now we have 450 staff, mostly as rangers, and mostly local people. And our annual budget has grown to $4 million. This is just showing the difference of our coverage area from 2013 to 2025. So from just covering a small amount of the landscape, now we cover 78% of the area, and we cover them with protection, with restoration program, and also with conservation education and community engagement. How we work is first we collaborate with the governments. We have MOU with the Ministry of Forestry for patrol and monitoring in the national park area, in Gunung Leuser National Park. And we also have MOU with the provincial government for patrol and monitoring and restoration outside of the national park in the protected forest area, which is, it is the wider Leuser ecosystem area outside of the national park. And we also collaborate with many NGOs, local, national, international, and institutions, and also university, which I cannot mention one by one, but one of them is ECTIS, which what I will mention. So our strategy, our activities are rested on 3 main pillars. The first is protection, the second restoration, and the third is development of public awareness by conservation education, and also by empowerment of communities with sustainable livelihoods. For the first pillar, here's our ranger teams. So they are the front guard, the front line of protection of the Leuser ecosystem. Right now we have 38 ranger teams, and each team consists of 4 to 5 rangers. And they patrol the forest for a minimum of 15 days. And whenever they go on patrol, we also include or attach 1 government ranger from the national park or from the provincial government. And next, we have the Leuser Rescue Team, which functions not only as a wildlife rescue unit, but also in this team, we operate elephant patrol teams, elephant fencing, and elephant biobarrier team to help with human-wildlife mitigation, especially human-wildlife conflict mitigation, especially with the elephants. This is a picture of a successful mission after we collar a female elephant. For electric fence, we have established 17 kilometers in the eastern part of Leuser, and we plan to construct more fencing because this has been a success for us in reducing human-wildlife conflict with elephants. So with this electric fence, we use a standardized fence, of course, which will not injure or kill the elephant. And now the community has seen this example and are now following our initiative, and they have asked for our help to set up fencing in their area, and we have helped 2 villages to set up 5 kilometers of fencing. So yeah, in total more than 17 kilometers, but 17 kilometers is what we built independently. Well, we also have mobile monitoring units to record data on illegal forest activities. So they act like an intel unit. So they investigate and secretly capture picture of illegal logging or illegal encroachment or wildlife crime or like poaching. So they analyze the data, which we then collect and submit to the law enforcement authorities for investigation and law enforcement follow-up. This is a work in progress. We are planning to establish a Sumatran rhino sanctuary as a place for, as a rhino breeding site. And The reason of this is because they are isolated rhino with no breeding sign, which I will explain in the later slides. So those were the protection program, and now the restoration. We have 24 restoration posts. Each are managed by 2 to 3 staff, and we involve 118 agroforestry farmers to do the restoration. And currently, we manage a total of 12,000 hectares area that we're trying to fully restore and rewild. So for the development of conservation, education, and promoting research, we operate 4 research stations across the Leuser ecosystem, and it acts as education centers, and we invite researchers from all over the world and also from local researchers and university students to come and do research in the Leuser ecosystem. And we also have a mobile conservation education unit that goes around the Leuser ecosystem from villages to visit schools, visit communities, and do conservation outreach and education. And this is an annual figure. Annually, they can engage more than 4,300 students, and also organize 10 field trips to get the students out there to the Leuser ecosystem and see by themselves the landscape that they are living in, and also visiting, on average, per year, 80 schools. This is another unit, Sustainable Livelihood Team, which work to develop community-based economic alternatives. So this is the hard work where we need to involve the community as much as possible and ensuring that they can thrive without harming the ecosystem. So, so far we've created 82 farmer groups or cooperatives and supporting 12,000 smallholder farmers, so 8,000 smallholder palm oil farmers and 3,000 smallholder cocoa farmers. And we also established training centers and center of excellence as a training hub for them, for the smallholder farmers. Right. So I'll just explain this map. So these are the map of the Leuser ecosystem and all of our programs. So you can see the darker shade here is our protection team. So we are covering 78% of the Leuser ecosystem with protection. And this area we cannot reach because you need so many days, 15 days, continuous hike to this location. So it's a mountain and alpine forest area. These are our guard posts here, entering the entry points to the national park, and our restoration park mostly in the lowland area in the eastern Leuser. And this darker brown layer is the smallholder farmers that we're working with in the eastern Leuser and also in the central Leuser for cacao. And the research station, we have research station here, another research station here, and in the west Leuser and in south Leuser here. So yeah, it's 3 layers of protection, so inside of the forest and the border, and also outside of the forest area, working with the communities. So that's how basically how we work. Okay, so next is what we have achieved so far in the last 13 years. First, with the intensive protection, we've managed to reduce the wildlife snares being set in the forest. So from 5 snares per 100 kilometers patrol, now just 1 snare per 100 kilometers. So a significant decrease in the last, from 2017. And yeah, this is Rudy Putra, one of our founder and former director. He's now serving as our senior advisor, and he's holding snares here, nylon snares and sling snares, that can target the bigger mammals. But we also often find the smaller sling snares that target pangolins. And ratio of forest encroachment is also decreasing, which shows deterrence for forest clearance and conversion to palm oil. So this is decreasing in national park area and protected forests. But we still have the challenge with illegal logging case. We managed to reduce them from 2013 to 2020, but it increased again and continue to rise until 2024. And we are working on a solution for this, which is adding more guard posts in logging hotspots, and also introducing last year we are introducing a new unit called the canine unit, the canine dogs, to help with deterrence and also for arrests of loggers. And this is the ratio of species science per kilometer patrol. Here, focusing on the 4 key species: the rhino, elephant, tiger, and Sumatran orangutan. We've seen improvement in the science of Sumatran orangutan from their nests and their direct encounters with the animals, and with tiger as well from their tracks. And here are the Sumatran rhino and the Sumatran elephant. It's also improving, but not as well as the orangutan and the tigers. So yeah, maybe now I will talk specifically about the rhino. But before going into what we have achieved with the rhino, maybe a little bit of context here. So in 1991, estimated 500 to 900 individuals remaining. But over the years, due to habitat fragmentation, habitat pressure, and poaching, well, because they're close to the demands, in Vietnam and in China. We've lost them in Peninsular Malaysia. We've lost them, and now in 2019, declared extinct in Malaysia. And now the rhino only exists in 3 locations: in Aceh, in Leuser Aceh, in Lampung, in East Kalimantan. So the next outcomes that I'll talk about is how we prevent wildlife death, especially elephant, from human-wildlife conflict. So human-wildlife conflict, especially elephant-human conflict, is high in the eastern Leuser ecosystem. And in 10 years ago, we can have, like, in 1 year, 10 elephant deaths, and 50% of the incident comes from the eastern Leuser, where the lowland forest is. And we work with the communities and our rangers, install GPS collars on the elephant to try to prevent conflict before it happens, and also construct elephant fencing that we will build more in the future. And also working with the community, our rangers doing socialization, and also distributing fireworks to let them know that we are here to help them, and give our contact numbers, so whenever they come into conflict with the elephant, they can call us right away and can help mitigate the conflict and to prevent any death. This team also functions as a wildlife rescue unit, and we've been doing rescues of injured animals, especially tigers and elephants. So this is a picture of an elephant we trap after it is injured in the cheek. And then there's another elephant who's been walking with a snare for years, and we rescued him and removed the snare. So usually after we capture the tiger, we treated him, and then we release it back as soon as possible to the wild, and ideally to the deeper location of the forest and to the national park area. And this is a good story about this elephant. This elephant was found in 2020 with this snare in its leg, and it's been choking its leg. So we found him in 2020, and we rescued him, sedated him, and treated his injuries, and removed the snares. And 5 years later, just in September last year, we found him again. We found him in the wild, and you can still see the scar here. So when he came, our team was surprised to see him because he came running. But when he came running, he kind of stopped in the middle way. Our team was ready to leave tracks, with their bikes, ready to get on their bikes. But he stopped and just stayed there for a while and then turned back, like showing thank you, because the team that's been monitoring is the same team that rescued him many years ago. And here's the result of the human-wildlife conflict, especially the human-elephant conflict incident in the East Leuser. We've seen a decrease of elephant conflict incidents in the last 5 years, a 90% decrease. And it's actually thanks to technologies such as the GPS collar and the electric fence. which help us to prevent conflict before it happens. We can monitor the location of the elephant herd, and whenever it comes close to the community, we can get there and drive them back before it enters community farm and create conflict. So in East Leuser now we've seen good population and increasing populations, and with many elephant calves. Even we found this year one mother with 2 calves at the same time, which is very rare for Sumatran elephant. And yeah, this is a video showing elephant herd in Eastern Leuser. Yeah, another outcome is our restoration program that I want to talk about. Here's a palm oil, illegal palm oil inside a protected forest area. And then we cut down the palm oil after we discuss with the communities and give them understanding. But this is not easy, and I will talk about it later. And so we leave just 2 palm oil trees, just as a reminder. And then we just let the tree grows, and we work with the communities to plant agroforestry trees in the buffer area. So yeah, years by years, the forest returned, and now it's fully grown back into like how it used to be, and with native trees, of course. And beside of and the result, the community can get harvest from the agroforestry trees. They plant durian, jengkol, stinky beans, and a banana. And while waiting for the agroforestry trees to grow, they plant bananas, chilies among the trees, gingers, and yeah, those are the samples. So they can get fast harvest for the first 1 and 2 years before the agroforestry trees grow. Besides the community, the animals also receive benefit. They found a new habitat. This is an orangutan that returned to our restoration area, and we take a picture of her. And also, the restoration area is now suitable for orangutan release. So this is an orangutan release to our restoration area after being rescued and rehabilitated. And also, tiger tracks returned, and other animals, cute animals such as these. And from our protection and the restoration efforts, we have seen a decrease in deforestation in the Leuser ecosystem by 50%, but this is still a high number, and we've seen the trend now little by little upward again, and we still need to work hard on to really reduce deforestation to minimum. And I'm going to talk about the community development program that we do. And first, I'll provide a little socio-economic context. So Aceh is a 5.5 million population province. It is the poorest province in Sumatra. So among all other provinces, we are the poorest province, despite we have the most excellent forest cover of all Sumatra. And the people here in Aceh, 15% live in poverty, far above the national poverty rate of 9%. So here's a picture of the typical rural village bordering with the Leuser ecosystem. You can see the lowland rainforest behind. So in Aceh, agriculture is the dominant livelihood, and palm oil is our largest contributor to the provincial GDP. And we have approximately 471,000 hectares of palm oil plantation across the province, and half of them are owned by smallholders. And Indonesia is also the largest exporter of palm oil. And yeah, it's hard because we can see that there will be more expansion of palm oil into the forest area. And now the government is advancing a policy, the B50 biofuel policy, to mix palm oil with fossil fuel for vehicles. And what we can see in the future is the demand of palm oil will continue to rise, and the farmers, the community will be encouraged to plant more palm oil. But what we see in the field is that the community is still living in poverty despite them having palm oil farms. They have poor yields, their farm is not managed well, and then when they sell their palm oil, their products are not verified and does not have sustainable certification, so they have to sell to a middleman and with a much lower price than it should be. And yeah, to prevent further expansion in the forest area, we must work with the smallholder farmers. It is a reality. For us to go against this palm oil campaign is like swimming against a really strong river. So we tried to improve the well-being of these smallholder farmers, and in 2019 we embarked on an initiative, a collaborative initiative. It's called the PPI Compact, Protection, Production, Inclusion. So we have the district government, the private sector, the smallholder farmers, cooperatives, and the NGO signing an MOU together. And together we train the communities, especially the smallholder farmers, in regenerative agriculture, good agricultural practice, and diversified agroforestry. And this program also provides them with land tenure and cultivation certificates. These are the distribution of the smallholder farmers that we work in Aceh Tamiang district, which is in the southeastern part of Leuser. And this is the boundary of Leuser, so we work with the smallholder farmers. And we facilitate them with training, with certification, and now their products are traceable and verified. And as the result, their productions have improved in their farm, and they get, in addition, they get premium fees for their efforts. Yeah, this is the visualization of the regenerative agriculture training. We also train youth and the women farmers, and this is organic fertilizer training. And with organic fertilizer, they can get a cheaper price, 10 times more cheaper than the chemical fertilizer. This is a picture I took a month ago of a cocoa farm as a result of our training. Now the farmers do diversified agroforestry in their farm. So here you see the cacao trees, and here he plants sweet potato, also plant bananas and hardwood trees like lanzones, rambutan, durian, and also coconut tree. So from this, he got a diversified income, not just relying on a single crop, but so from these many crops, he got incomes all year round. And with superior cacao clones as well. And these are the farmers. Look at their smiles. They receive a sustainable premium fee transfer for the first time. They're smiling because they are holding a transfer receipt to their account, maybe except the last lady because she was not ready for a photo, obviously. And yeah, so we were with our cacao farmers, in total 3,000 farmers receiving a premium fee distribution from Rainforest Alliance and from the cacao buyers. So on top of the cacao beans that they sell, they get a premium fee every 3 months or every 6 months. And this is what incentivizes the farmers to do good, because now they do good agricultural practice, their product is verified, so they are incentivized to maintain their land because they are given this kind of appreciation. This is the first time that they receive premium fee transfer from their buyers. So no more middlemen, so directly sell to the buyers, the companies. And the program impact to deforestation in the district, we see deforestation decrease significantly from 500 hectares in 2015 to only 50 53 hectares in 2024. And we'll try to replicate this program to other districts in North Aceh, in East Aceh, in Gaya Luas districts, to support the smallholder farmers so that they can thrive and focus on intensification in their farms, good agricultural practice, and not resort to expansion into the forest area. So this is Ignacio's favorite. He called it the secret ingredients, or the kitchen, and how we work in the Leuser ecosystem, and our strategy. So the first one is the silent conservation of the rhino. Secondly, focus on humility and respect instead of prohibition and preaching. So sometimes when we work with the community, we blame them for the problem that's been going on. We see them as the problem. Well, we say to them, stop poaching, stop logging, but this will not work. Because, for them, we are outsiders, right? Even though we are a local community, but we wear this shirt with the FKL logo, and they see us as outsiders. So preaching and prohibition will not work. So what works instead is conversation. So let me tell you a story of Rudy. It's our founder is now our senior advisor. He has a unique way in working with the community. So these are people who are previously loggers. They are poachers, ex-armed combatants of the Free Aceh movement. And these people once opposed our conservation program, opposed FKL. But Rudy just go to the village every time we want to start a new conservation program. For example, want to build a new restoration post. He go to the village and he goes to the man who opposed the program, just have a conversation with him. And we do not talk about the problem. We talk about families, talk about maybe the weather, the coffee, how their farm is going. So not about the problem, about the logging, the poaching. So just having a normal conversation. And this way we see them as human and we treat them with respect. And this will be reciprocated. So there will be a mutual respect and mutual trust develop. And then from here, friendship grows. Friendship grows, and they will become curious. They will become curious, what is this man doing here? What is conservation? And then he will try to find out. And if we can provide alternative option, alternative livelihood to them, they will follow, because who wants to do illegal things? I don't think anyone wants to do illegal activities. And some of them have joined FKL as community organizers, as restoration managers, as rangers. And now they have been given jobs, they have been given training, and they have been given appreciation. They become the most dedicated forest guardians and become conservation champions in their village. The third one is to not be afraid of starting small. We was once a small NGO with no funding, but from starting small, what you need is bravery and passion and belief, right? But you also need to show results. So, in the first year, we have 2 ranger teams who go into the forest and collect snares, dismantle snares. And in the second year, Rudy, with his pocket money, he bought a uniform for the rangers with FKL logo. And he went with them to the forest and take pictures of them dismantling the snares and working in the forest, collecting data, and he used that as the basis for his next proposal. So here is the photo of our rangers. There's an FKL logo, nice picture. And this is the result. We dismantle 100 snares. We do this, we do that. And little by little, we have grown into 38 ranger teams, and our annual budget have increased, and we found donors from all over the world. That's the result is also related to the lead through example, not promises. And a second story I want to tell you in the slides about here is our restoration post in Bengkalang village. It was there was many clearing in this area. So this is a protected forest. You can see here road has been built. So Rudy talked with the village head that this is not good, this is illegal, and the road is, will, invite more poachers, more loggers. So we talked with the village head, and the village head agreed for us to set up a small hut here as the base of our restoration post. It's a small hut, and at the time we have no funding for this program, but we built it anyway, just a small one, and a small nursery post over here. And at first, the farmers, the community were skeptical of this program, but from one farmer who joined our agroforestry program, our restoration program, then came the second farmers. And our restoration staff here were amazing. They can produce a great agroforestry seedlings that can grow really well. And then from one and two farmers that join our agroforestry program, and the other community then see them as an example, like, wow, they can grow this agroforestry, and this is a legal way to have income. And then the third farmer joined, and the fourth farmer joined, and by the end, we got hundreds of farmers joining our agroforestry restoration program in the Bengkelang village. And this is the donors that we brought to Bengkelang village for evaluation, and the village that once opposed our program here, they're very happy to receive the donor and to appreciate the restoration program. And when the donors come, they welcome them with the traditional dance, Gayo traditional dance. So a change of behavior from one small hut, a small presence, into a big restoration program. And it's the result of the restoration that we do in Bengkelang, completely restored now with agroforestry trees and native trees behind the agroforestry buffer zone. So this is the last one. Is we work not only, for us to remember that we work not only for the forest or for the animals. We also need to remember that we also work for the community that live in bordering this forest area. This is our rangers. So in November 2025, the cyclone Shenyar happened, the floods. So in the next 2 months, in December and January, we stopped our program, our patrol program. We stopped completely, and we assign our staff to help with the rebuilding, with the cleanup of the flood. So here's our rangers. Before cleaning a public school here in East Aceh, and beside public school, they also help clean mosques. They clean community houses, and this way the community see that we not only work for the forest or the animals, but we also care for them, and we work, and the community is beginning to trust us. And this worth more than any communication campaign that we can create to help develop awareness in the community. And this is in February this year, so after the cleanup operations, this is our rangers helping putting out fires. So when fire happened in the village, they do not only call the firefighters, but they also call FKL for help because of the human missions that we did in the previous 2 months. So this is not in their job desk. They are rangers who their job is to patrol the forest, but they go anyway and help the community. And this is how we work. We work not only for the forest and the animals, also we work with the community, and the way we do that is to build trust. We build mutual respect with the community. So in my culture in Aceh, there was a belief that if wild animals came to you, it means that the animal knew that we have a good heart, that we are a good person. And yeah, from this, I want to say to you that you all have a good heart. You are doing amazing work, and we have to keep going, be consistent, and we have each other. If there's any challenge, we can share with each other, especially in this place, in this event. And before I end, I want to thank Ignacio for the opportunity, for Astrid and Jorge who have gone to his holiday, and to my fellow active participants for the support. So yes, I'll end it with that. Thank you very much.